Hello there. This is Hearts of Iron 3 with their Finest Hour DLC installed. I have all the other expansion packs for this game. And if you'll notice, the first video I did on this channel was for this game. And a couple friends of mine that always liked hearing my stories about it have been bugging me for like the last 2 years to do a little bit more with this. I'm no expert on this game, and in fact, I would wager that I'm pretty bad at it. Uh, but we will play anyways, and this will be like a little side project that I do every now and again. I'm still going to do TF2 stuff, but I've been playing this game a lot, so why not record it? If you're from the Hearts of Iron community, please help me. Also, lightly have the game music in the background. I don't know if you'll really be able to hear it, but it'll stop this from being a ton of the video of just me talking. So we're going to play a custom game, which is a new thing that you get in their Finest Hour. We're going to play the Soviet Union because I actually have my degree in Russian history of the interwar period, which is when this game starts. We'll do 1936 to start. A lot of people see that as being kind of cheesy in the community, but we'll go ahead and do it because I'm so bad I'll probably lose anyways. And we'll do Road to War, so 36. We'll leave everything at normal, and I'm gonna try to control everything. And we'll go ahead and start. Okay, so this is the diplomacy screen. You can make yourself less neutral, which will mean more early warfare, and you've got points to that effect. I'm not going to mess with that at all, so we'll just click that and we'll be out of here. You can also mess with your research, so like if I wanted to undo some of the research that you start with, you could do that. I'm not really going to mess with it because I think that changes the game a little too much and puts me ahead in some areas that make it less like playing the Soviet Union. And then now we have the thing that makes this game so hard, the OOB, or Order of Battle, and that's what this is. And it's got all kinds of nonsense going on here, and we're going to reorder all of that. And I'm going to kind of loosely go over at least the routine that I go through for this. If you know of a better way because you're from the community, then please post it. So I'm going to turn auto assign off, and I'm going to unassign all my generals. And then we're just going to scroll all the way over the whole USSR and get everybody. Then we're going to bring them all to just outside of Moscow in Tula, which was a city famous for its arm manufacturer. And then we're going to have the big, what I like to call the big sort. And, well, I'm going to cut that out for you. But essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to click on all these units. And then I'm going to go through and select each individual type and move them somewhere else just so that they're all in the same stack. And there we have it. Every individual type of unit that's for land sorted by type. It took about 10 minutes. It used to take much longer and cost a lot more, but now that you've got the custom option, it's not quite so bad. Then you just do a quick scan around to make sure that there are no units floating around. And I'm satisfied that there are not. So there's that. And then we go over to our handy dandy little button here, and we're going to change our Air Force around. Mainly by detaching all of it. Just hit the D key to do that. And then moving it all to our capital, which is Moscow, and we're also going to delete these tactical bombers for now. So I just select them and delete them. The reason that I'm getting rid of the tactical bombers, despite tactical bombers being pretty sweet, is because they're pretty expensive, And the Soviet Union doesn't have enough research to really do multiple kinds of aircraft, so I'm really not going to mess with it. The Soviets themselves in real life did use some tactical bombers, but not really a whole lot. Their primaries were interceptor aircraft, air superiority fighters, and close air support, of which they built the most close air support. I think the Ilyushkin close air support actually ended up being the most produced plane in history because of how many the Soviets made. Now, as you can see, we got a bunch more points here, and we're going to turn all those points, because they were in Air Force units, into Air Force units, and we're just going to get a bunch more interceptors, 9 in fact, and then we're going to place them all down in Moscow. Then I'm going to turn them into lovely groups of 2, because 2 makes me happy as far as interceptor squadrons. It's said in this game that these little air wing things represent each brigade, so interceptor, each represent about 100 planes. So we've now got quite a few planes just laying about in Moscow. And the next thing I'm going to do is take all these HQ units and delete them, because HQ units are kind of hard to mess around with, and it would be hard to put them back in a proper hierarchy. It's easier just to create one. That gives us a lot of points, and also some of these HQ units are not deletable. Stavka we're going to keep, the Far East we're going to keep, and the Stalingrad HQ we're going to keep. And the rest of them, well, they're going to get sent far away. As per Stalin's orders, of course. Alright, and here are all these crappy extra HQs that we can't delete. I've placed them in Stalingrad, and we're going to make sure that they're not getting upgraded and that they're not getting reinforced. I actually used to put them on the front lines in the hopes that they would get killed, but that it always just reforms them in Moscow, as if just to spite me that I'll never be rid of those crappy, stupid things. So that's one flaw in the game. And then, to benefit myself mostly, and also as a penalty for how crappy the starting OOB is for the Soviet Union, I build myself a bunch of factories with that bonus HQ stuff. And then we're going to basically change the entire army structure here. The easiest place to start is there's one mountain division that's a regular unit. We're going to delete that. And we got a lot of work to do with these tank divisions because some of them are kind of crap. So it's easiest just to delete all those two, including these 2 motorized divisions. Having deleted all that, we're going to build reasonably heavier light tank divisions, and we're going to build them as reserves, and we're going to start out with 15. Actually 20, because 20 makes me happier. Then we'll just place them back down. And now, because I hate these garrison divisions, we'll be getting rid of those too, and also all of our infantry, so goodbye. Delete 100 units, yeah? And we're going to rebuild several of them in a new and interesting way. So we go to division, go to rifle, and we're going to add artillery to 13 of these, and we're going to build them as reserves and place them down. Then we're going to build some with anti-tank guns. A lot of people argue that you should just go straight tank destroyer if you're going to build anti-tank stuff, but I'm a money-saving type of guy. Fiscal responsibility, yo. And that's going to give us 26, which I'll place down. Then we're going to build 9 more that do have tank destroyers and place those down. Then, as a sort of border patrol, we're going to build 50 or so, maybe 60 raw, naked infantry divisions, and put those down along our border as so. I won't make you sit through that, though. So there we are, a bunch of nice infantry divisions all the way down, 2 deep. That's just in case something goes horribly awry. Then we're going to slide back up here, kill these garrison units because I don't like them. And we're going to build a series of garrison units that are slightly different, a little bit heavier, I would say, at least as far as troops go. And we're just going to build 4, and we're not going to build 60 of them. We'll be happy with like 9. And that's just going to be to occupy large cities and important objectives so that I don't have to waste time doing it in another format or risking amphibious landings at some point coming and absolutely wrecking me. So we'll just do that there. A little bit of Sevastopol, Baku, a lot of Vostok, and one last one. We'll probably put them in Kiev. There we go. Maybe we'll build some more even. 9 was not the correct number. Basically, we're just going to put these down in cities so that we don't have to do it later when I actually am building for the war. So that's quite a few more than I expected. There we go. I feel happy with this arrangement. Yes, and we'll put one in Moscow just for added benefits. And then basically the rest of the divisions we're going to build are going to be lighter militia units, and I'm going to put those on my far eastern border and also my Middle Eastern border, just in case anything goes terribly awry and I get attacked by Japan. There we go. So here are a bunch of militia divisions that were placed down as our new border guards. This game, you really shouldn't understand militia to mean like just regular dudes with guns, which is what it's pictured as here and is sort of described in the game in general. But their statistics really aren't all that worse than regular infantry. So it's basically just like a light infantry, and their organization is slightly lower than normal. But it's really not that bad, and the Soviet Union specializes in the tech that gives them much higher organization. So I'm not particularly worried about anything in that regard. And then lastly, the next thing and final thing that we do here is the Soviet Union doesn't really have very many airports of any great size. So we're going to make some. And I'm going to place them a little bit here and there around the map. We'll also build more later. But this just cuts down on the costs of doing so at a later date, like right as the war is about to happen. And you don't want to be focusing on building Air Force bases. You want to be focused on putting out the troops. So we'll just build another here, and that will burn us out. So that's what we've got. I used some of the bonus points just to give myself a better airfields, but I think I'm justified. I deleted most of my starting army, or at least moved it. It's much easier to just build new and place it down like that. I also have not made an OOB, and we won't be doing that until a little bit later in the game. But anyways, so we are ready to start here and actually get down into the game.